right, and this is the Indiana Libertarian Update for the week of May 29, 2017. Congratulations to Mr. Sato for winning that little race here in Indianapolis this week. This week we are joined by the clown prince of the Indiana cannabis legalization movement, Bill Levin. Bill is the founder and grand Poobah of the First Church of Cannabis. He's here to bring us up to speed on the latest of his efforts to freely practice his religion in the state of Indiana, and we've got some more details from him as well. First, let's check on libertarian events from around the state of Indiana. Coming up on this Friday, June 2nd, Tim's Shooting Academy of Westfield is the place, and that's the date to support the Second on the Second. Donald Rainwater has put this event together, and he's going to be looking for folks to come out and join him for a little range time there at Tim's Shooting Academy. That's located at 17777 Commerce Drive, Westfield, Indiana. And again, that starts at 7 p.m. this Friday and runs to 8:30 p.m. The Monroe County Libertarian Party is going to have their monthly meeting. That happens this Saturday at the Tailored Fit, located at 611 West 11th Street there in Bloomington, Indiana. A lot been going on down in Bloomington. You'll want to definitely check this out immediately following that meeting on this Saturday. They'll be having a discussion called Mobilizing Small Town USA for Liberty. Brandon Levy is going to be heading this up, I believe, and they're going to continue this discussion. They had a similar event earlier in the year about mobilizing votes, mobilizing campuses for liberty, and had some real success. Hopefully they will continue to enjoy some good turnout and some good activity there, mobilizing Small Town USA for Liberty immediately following the regular monthly meeting, and that's this Saturday, expected to run from 5 to 6:30. On Sunday, from 1 to 4 p.m., the Goshen Town Hall meeting for the higher fellowships, that's going to be happening at 2618 Peddlers Village Road there in Goshen, Indiana. And again, that's this Sunday, June 4th, and that runs from 1 to 4 p.m., sponsored by the good folks over at the Higher Fellowship. Indiana Cannabis Chat. This is our first ever event. That's going to be happening next Tuesday, June 6th. It's going to be happening at the Antelope Club here in Indianapolis. We're very happy to be bringing David Rines, who's the executive director of the Marijuana Business Association. We'll be joined by Evan McMahon, and we even have a possibility of Jeff Staker being there with the Hoosier Veterans for Medical Cannabis Organization. It's going to be a great event. It's not the same folks you've heard talking about legalization in the state of Indiana in the past. We're talking about business at this point. So if you're curious about how commerce, how business is going to be affected by legalization when it comes to Indiana, this is an event you'll want to see. It's going to be happening again next Tuesday, June 6th, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. My good friend Chris Bowen is going to be handling the MC duties, since I'll be hopefully putting my toes in the sands of Dauphin Island, Alabama, as I'll be on vacation. We're going to live stream this, though, so you should be able to check it out online or in person. It's the Indiana Cannabis Chat 1.0. It's coming Tuesday, June 6th at the Antelope Club from 7 to 8:30 p.m. There is a LP conference call coming up, and this is sponsored by the National Libertarian Party. You can find more about this call on a conference call, on Libertarian Party Facebook page. This is about outreach to gender and sexual minorities, especially this time of year as Pride festivities come to mind. A lot of libertarians will be reaching out and doing events to hopefully have some outreach with the gay, lesbian, transgender community, etc. If you'd like more information on that, it happens Tuesday, June 6th from 9 to 10 p.m., and you just need to make a phone call to make it happen. They usually just have you send in an email, and they'll give you respond to that email with information on how to join that conference call. Libertarian Party of Morgan County meet and greet is going to be happening on June 8th. That's going to be happening on next Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m., and that's at Ralph and Ava's Cafe and Catering there on Main Street in Mooresville. Looks like they have a pretty good turnout, and they've been very consistent about making this event happen, so we're very happy to see some regular meetings happening down there in Mooresville. Free candidate photo shoot. This is going to be happening Saturday, June 10th at the Tailored Fit. Once again, Brandon Levy and all the good folks down there in Monroe County are taking care of business, and they're getting ready for the 2018 campaigns by getting some good headshots together. So if you'd like to, if you're considering running for office and want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward, get down to the Tailored Fit on Saturday, June 10th from noon to 6 p.m. A very fun and interesting event coming up on Sunday, June 11th from 3 to 5 p.m. at Ricker's in Columbus, Indiana. It's a drink-in for liberty. Many of you are familiar with the story of Ricker's successful attempt to sell alcohol on their sell single loose cold beer in their stores, and they were able to accomplish it by making themselves restaurants. They sell food, and pretty good food too, from what I understand. There's several folks that are going to be in attendance, so head over to the Rickers there in Columbus on Sunday the 11th from 3 to 5 p.m. Kick back and have a cold one with a bunch of good liberty-minded people. Okay. Now, as promised, we are going to have a quick interview with Bill Levin. Now, Bill's been a good friend of mine for many years. He's been an active libertarian. He's campaigned as a candidate for city council. I believe that was his most recent campaign. The last couple of years, though, he's been pursuing justice for the cannabis-consuming community through the activities of the First Church of Cannabis. Let's go ahead and give this a listen and learn a little more about Bill Levin and what he's been up to as of late.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's interview for the Indiana Libertarian Update. This week we're joined by a former Libertarian candidate and general disruptor of the status quo. His name is Bill Levin. Bill, how are you this week?
Hi, Jason. I love you. How you doing? Good to be on your show.
Thanks so much, man. We love you too. For those of you who are not familiar with Bill, Bill is one of the many hats that he wears is the hat of the Grand Poobah of the First Church of Cannabis. What's happening with the First Church of Cannabis these days, Bill?
We're still loving our services every Wednesday night at 7:30. They're streamed live, Facebook Live, obviously on Facebook. And they're on our webpage, Canitarian, Facebook Canitarian, or Facebook First Church of Cannabis.
Right, First Church of Cannabis, and of course you can find that through the Indiana Libertarian Update Facebook page as well. So for those of us who are not familiar, of course I'm quite familiar with the story, but for those of our listeners who are not familiar with the story of the First Church of Cannabis, what is the First Church of Cannabis and why is it here?
It's a religion I established in March 26th of 2015. That is basically a extension on how I believe life should be run and lived and enjoyed and embraced. Life is a great adventure. We need to embrace it. We need to love on each other.
Absolutely.
And I based a religion upon it. I've been marrying people since 2010. I got my minister's license, and I've been trying to live the good life.
Absolutely. Now, by living the good life, the church has found itself in legal conflict with some pretty notable entities, including the current Vice President of the United States. Tell us a little bit about that conflict that the First Church of Cannabis rose out of.
Well, first off, I'd like to say, Mikey has great hair. Mikey, the Vice President, was at one point governor of our illustrious state, and he fertilized our state really well with this RFRA law, this religious freedom law.
Mm-hmm.
And since we had so much fertilizer in our state, and since I was already marrying people, I thought I would establish my own religion, seeing that I could do so. And I started it, and it seemed to conflict with some city and state laws, and we had a few issues. The city was nice enough to provide us with 60 to 80 parking attendants dressed in uniform. I think they spent about $30,000 on our opening night. They put a camera out there just to make sure that they got everybody. It was beautiful. I got to wave to them every day. I know they waved back, but I couldn't see it. No, we've done fabulous as a church. We've done things as a church that churches are supposed to do. But the funny thing is we've broken all the benchmarks because we don't know any better. Let's start with the coat drive.
Mm-hmm.
We had 36 bags of 55-gallon drum, the big 55-gallon plastic bags.
Right.
Completely stuffed with blankets and coats. And when we dropped it off at the distribution center, and they go, "You with what church? Really?" This is more we get from anybody else. And it's like, we had two and a half pickup trucks full.
Okay, so you're better to put some shoes on people's feet. What else are you doing for the community over there on the south side?
We sent a ton of food to the shelter, and we sent half a ton of food out to Standing Rock. What else have we done? We did the sock thing. Oh, the sock thing was the first thing we did. I forgot. I got out of order. We did a sock drive, and we took 2,700 pair of socks down to the distribution center. And they looked at us, and they blinked, and they go, "Who are you? What church? Really? We only get 300 to 500, maybe 700 pairs of socks, new socks. You brought us 2,700 new pair." Oh, we didn't know there was a benchmark, but okay, fine. Mm-hmm. So, we've been doing it with food, we've been doing it with clothes, we've been doing it with socks, we've been doing it with, everything. We ran movie nights on Monday nights, which was free to the public. We streamed that live. There's a talking puppet and Granny J who MC that. On Tuesday nights, we've been doing Kansas City Limits, which is our acoustic night at church. And the bands come in, they get a live recording, their band at the First Church of Cannabis.
Right.
We got a 16-channel board, so we do them, right. And they get streamed on the internet, and they basically walk out with an album, a live album.
Excellent.
That's free of charge, too. Wednesday night are our illustrious services, where everybody gets hugged. Thursdays, we have nothing going on. We have a day off. Fridays is comedy. But we're taking everything off this month to regroup, resettle, and get ready for the summer and fall. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I can relate to that as at the Indiana Libertarian update as well. As we'll be taking a break this month.
Yeah, you got to get backlogged on editing, things like that.
Right. So
now I understand why TV does it in seasons.
Exactly. So, so many things going on at the First Church of Cannabis. Obviously, you have your regular Wednesday services, and it's pretty similar to a traditional religious service. There's a enthusiastic religious service, correct?
Yeah, it's a positive, uplifting. That's a positive, uplifting experience. We got people who come who don't get hugs all week, who just come in to get hugged.
Right.
People don't use the words "I love you" enough. They don't use it enough in their home. They don't use it enough at work. They certainly don't use it enough in public. We try to change that. I mean, I'm the guy who walks up to the clerk at the gas station and says, "Bye, I love you," and they look at me real weird. But by the third time I do it, they say, "Yeah, you too," or "Yeah, I love you too." It's just you got to get people to open up about it.
Absolutely.
You got to get people to express love.
Now, one thing I'm kind of not confused about, but I think maybe you could use some clarification. Is Canatarianism a religion unto itself, or is this something that coexists in the frame of other belief systems? For example, I consider myself Christian, but I also understand where even the Christian experience could be enhanced through the use of cannabis. Would I be welcome at this church, or do I need to convert to Canatarianism?
No. We welcome absolutely everybody. We have Catholics, Jews, Protestants. We have Muslims. We have everybody come in because it's a celebration of life's great adventure. It's all the positive, wonderful things. We don't have any of the burdens of the guilt, the sin, and the judgment that the old magic books use because we don't believe in guilt, sin, and judgment.
Interesting. So we got the regular services. You got the movie nights on part of the week. You got the comedy that'll be coming back at the towards the end of June, hopefully over the course of the summer. If people want to support the church, how can they support the church?
They can become a member. Our memberships are $50.40 a year. I think July 1st the memberships will be going up. I don't know what the price will be. I think it'll be a couple hundred just because the church needs money. We've gone through some winters with gas and heat bills, and we misjudged and miscalculated some things, and a little extra currency would certainly help pay these bills so we don't live disconnect to disconnect.
And for what it's worth, folks, Bill is being a little bit on the humble side here. The First Church of Cannabis does need resources, and they need them desperately. They have their next big legal hurdle is coming up in October, and it's important that they have the resources to keep the doors open, to keep the lights on and the heat on, especially through October. So if anybody would like to help out there, be sure to donate financially, and you can contact Bill directly or just go to their website, find them on Facebook for more details. Now,
on Facebook, we closed our website. We closed our Canatarian.org. Everything we say Canatarian.org, we say at Facebook. Everything we offer Canatarian.org, we offer on Facebook.
Right.
Why are we spending $300 a year in fees and services and watching when we're already saying the same thing every day?
Especially when resources are as limited as they are, and you need to watch every penny like you do.
Right. I mean, when we pass a basket at church, sometimes it comes back, at $7, $12, $14. This is, that's gross for a week.
Yeah.
That's not even enough to buy 3 coffees with, folks.
Yes, and they definitely need some support down there at the First Church of Cannabis. Now, outside of the First Church of Cannabis, how would you describe the relegalization movement here in Indiana these days?
I'm very pleased with the rapid movement it took in 2016. Mm-hmm. It was a delight to see. The Republicans finally came to play, and we passed our first CBD bill.
Right.
And I believe that the verbiage is set up rather well for down the line when other laws come into question.
Right.
So I believe that our government will craft an acceptable medical bill here within before the next governor's election.
Right. And what do you think about pressures from our neighbor states, things that might be happening in Michigan or Illinois regarding recreational marijuana? Do you think that a legalization of full-on recreational in any adjoining state will affect us directly here?
Well, let's put it this way. Right now, Indiana consumes 25 tons a week. Okay?
That's a lot of weed.
I don't care. I don't care how you break it down. And I can prove this just through blunt wraps and rolling paper sales.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We consume a huge amount. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it's going to be legal sooner or later, and now it's time to divide up people in positions of power who are going to control it. That's what's going on. The Republicans are going to dive in. They're going to want to control it. The Democrats already set their plan a couple of years ago, which is just pathetic. They both need to come to the table with a little bit of reality. And damn it, I'm that reality.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Now, next week, we'll be hosting David Wines, and that's going to be on Tuesday, June 6th at the Antelope Club in downtown Indianapolis. You've known David for some time, correct?
Yeah. David is old school cool. Now, let me tell you how old school cool. Do you remember Spin Magazine when it was cool?
Yes, I am old enough to remember Spin Magazine when it was cool.
David Rhines was editor.
Right on.
Okay, David was fucking editor of that magazine. David brought that magazine into the cool kingdom. He's the one that made it when it was running neck and neck with Rolling Stone. That's when David was at the helm.
In my opinion, it was better than Rolling Stone, and they were actually doing some new and edgy things over at Spin that I'd found Rolling Stone pretty tedious by that point in time. Well, that's cool. What else can we expect?
So David has been a cultural leader his whole life. I mean, I believe he even did a short stint with, he meant God. I mean, the guy at Microsoft.
Oh, yeah, Bill Gates. And when we talked to
I
him
think he
last
meant
week.
Bill Gates. Yeah, I mean, dude, not many people get to sit down with a man who makes $27,000 a minute.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, Bill Gates, you awake? Yeah. What'd you do this minute? I made about $27,000 in the last minute just by breathing.
Yes, indeed. It doesn't make sense for him to bend over to pick up a $100 bill because it's not worth his time, literally.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Right on. Well, David's going to be there. We'll also have Evan McMahon, and I think Evan's going to have an interesting perspective on this because one of the things that you were just mentioning is how there's already a behind-the-scenes power struggle for control of the impending legalization of cannabis here in Indiana, and we've seen that made evident in vaping laws. And I think Evan's going to bring some interesting information and some interesting comparison and some explanations there.
Evan is one of the libertarian stunning geniuses that we are blessed with.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
I'm pleased that he's joining us on this one. He did really cool on that vapor shit.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, on that vapor shit. Yeah, it's okay. We can say that on the radio.
Yes, and especially since we're a Facebook podcast, we don't even have to worry about a dump button for that one. All right, Bill. Anything else you want to pass along or share before we wrap it up today? When are those services at the First Church of Cannabis again?
Every Wednesday night at 7:30. We also marry people if anybody feels like getting hitched in a cool way. You know, we do all the traditional churchy things.
Right on. Okay, Bill, thanks so much for joining us here at Indiana Libertarian Update. We hope to see you next week at the Indiana Cannabis Chat 1.0 at the Antelope Club. Until next time.
All right.
We'll see you.
I love you, and I'll definitely see you next week. And have fun. Squeeze weed, scratch grass. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Love you too, brother. Take care, Bill.
Bye.
Well, there you have it, the man himself, Bill Levin, the Grand Poobah of the First Church of Cannabis, filling this in on what's going on over there and bringing this up to speed. It's just a matter of time, folks. Legal cannabis is coming to the state of Indiana, and if you want to learn more about it, be sure to join us next Tuesday, June 6th at the Antelope Club. That's from 7 to 8:30 p.m. We're hoping for a good turnout. We're going to have David Rhines all the way from Washington State to talk about the wonderful opportunities that are being... Let's try that with the mic down. The wonderful opportunities that are being enjoyed by folks in legal states and what we can do right here in Indiana to prepare for that. The Indiana Libertarian Update will be on a one-week hiatus next week. I'll be on vacation in Alabama, but we should have the Cannabis Chat 1.0 live stream available next Tuesday evening. And, of course, the recording of that will be posted as well. If you have a news story, event, or meeting you want us to pass along, just send us a message via Facebook or drop me an email. It's jsipe@sipesociety.com. Again, jsipe@sipesociety.com. Until next time, I'm Jason Sipe.